Days from now, the roar will return to the shores of Lake Erie as Cedar Point opens its gates. But we continue to focus on what is happening inside the park's employee housing units.
Yeah, all week long we have told you about the 27 sexual assault reports filed by park employees for incidents inside dorms. Now, we have worked with our sister stations in Cleveland and Columbus to put this series together.
As you will see tonight, other than the Sandusky police chief, no park or county officials are willing to sit down with us to discuss the issue.
He just walked in, like, unannounced, and, like, he grabbed me and pushed me up against the bed.
Elle, who did not want her name used, says she was raped inside a Cedar Point dorm in August of 2020.
Ran out the door where the RA is supposed to be, who was not there. So I'm like, I'll just run outside because we have police officers. And I ran out there and there was nobody there.
During the past 4 seasons, Elle and 26 other Cedar Point workers filled out police reports saying they were sexually assaulted in employee housing. We are still waiting for park officials to sit down with us so that we can ask them what is being done about the issue.
Cedar Point owns a lot of stuff around here.
On April 22nd, minutes after being kicked off park property, we were sent a statement by Cedar Point. It said, in part, that our on-site housing is monitored 24/7. In addition, our team is available to assist associates at any time with multiple resources, including on-site security. But that statement is contradicted by Elle's experience. She says she had no one to help her, forcing her to hide in a bathroom.
So I ran in the men's bathroom and I put my feet up on the stall because I didn't know if he knew what my shoes looked like.
And it also doesn't match the experience of Casey Wilson, who was sexually assaulted in May of 2019. On the day of the assault, she was locked out of her dorm room.
I tried to call like the front office, the RA, to see if they could like come up and unlock my door, and they said they would be up there. And it was like an hour. I waited an hour, and they still weren't there.
But while she was waiting, she did meet the man who would assault her later that night, Donnell Folks, who was convicted in 2020 of the sexual assault. He is one of 32 men listed as suspects on the reports taken by the Sandusky police.
Get your body cam.
On April 6th, Sandusky Police Chief Jared Oliver interviewed with 11 investigators for nearly 3 hours. He discussed the cases in depth and also his department's relationship with Cedar Point Police.
If we are called, I say if, we may or may not be called, but if we are called and we go to the scene, then we take over the scene. If there's an arrest that needs to be made, our officers make that arrest. If there's a report that needs to be handled, all officers take care of that report. I can't speak if we're called to every call.
And we can't say either. We've continually asked Cedar Point Chief Ron Gilson for his department's incident reports, but the department's refusing to turn them over. It says it's a private force not subject to state records law. Our lawyers are now fighting for those records. Under the agreement, Cedar Point would not be required to call Sandusky for misdemeanor cases. For example, sexual imposition. We don't know if those cases exist. According to Sandra Miller of the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center, a key to addressing sexual violence is acknowledging it.
Most institutions, most communities want to paint a picture of public safety. Like our campus is safe, our community is safe. We don't have high crime reports. But that actually works against what we're trying to do, where we're trying to bring crime and sexual assault to the surface so we can address it.
Now, some of these cases have been turned over to the prosecutor's office, but Erie County Prosecutor Kevin Baxter has not responded to our request for an interview, and we tried multiple times. In fact, we sent 2 emails and called his office more than 5 times. We do know that Baxter's office closed 3 cases without charges and has at least 2 others under review. And one of those cases under review is for Raven Jones, who said she was raped by a coworker after falling asleep. In its statement, Cedar Point said victims have access to mental health programs. Now, Jones says she hasn't been offered any counseling.
Do you need it?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of
nightmares, a lot of really bad dreams.
Her husband, Dylan, a former employee, says the whole living environment in the dorms was toxic.
I mean, if you can think of it, it's there. Anywhere from a little bit of alcohol given to an 18-year-old to heroin or meth or cocaine. Like, there's a lot.
Last year, Sandusky Fire Department responded to 2 drug overdoses in the dorm. In 2019, that number was 9. Nicole Badera, a sociologist who specializes in sexual violence in dorm settings, says all these elements play a role in the sexual allegations at Cedar Point.
Social scientists know that sexual violence is incredibly predictable. If you're seeing cases happening in the same place over and over, it's because there is a climate in that space that allows sexual violence to persist.
And we can tell you tonight, several former employees and supervisors have contacted us just this week saying either they were victimized or know of additional sexual assaults at Cedar Point.
And we can also give you an update on L's lawsuit. Cedar Point has filed a motion to dismiss it. Both sides are now awaiting the judge's ruling.
And finally, if you are a victim of sexual violence, text HELP to 419-248-1100 for a list of resources. You can also text for a link to our investigation and for an email to contact our team.
Also tonight, we reached out to Senator Sherrod Brown's office and sent him links to the investigation. He sent us this statement reading, quote, "These reports are horrifying. Cedar Point must do everything within its power to investigate this. Companies have a responsibility to make sure that seasonal workers who live in employee housing are safe both on and off the clock." Now, we're working to speak with and get reaction to our series from other lawmakers. We will bring you those updates and let you know if they call for action as a result of our investigation.
An update to breaking news.